Today, on Be Something Wonderful, what's real and what's an illusion? Buckle up. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video today. I want to talk about a session yesterday of a question that comes up quite a bit that I've talked about and tackled in many videos, but today we're going to hit it like we never have before. This client was asking, Tom, I struggle with seeing the 3D world as an illusion, or seeing the 3D world and the 3D conditions as just an illusion, and being told that illusions don't matter, right? Almost every coach, every guru talks about the idea that 3D conditions don't matter. I want to get into what they really mean by that today. And how do I tell a new story when the old story is in my face and others are asking me about it? This whole idea of telling your story and what's real and what's not. Because he's saying the story doesn't feel real to me, right? It doesn't feel genuine. It feels like I'm faking it. We're going to get into all of this, but remember, you create reality, all of it. Faking it till you make it is not, you're not faking it, as I've said many times, because you've already made it. It's already written. Those stories already exist because you say so. Your truth is the only reality. That's your entire life experience. So just an illusion implies that it's not real. That's what the implication there is. And remember, it's all real. Or in other words, it's all a real experience of reality. But it's not the absolute truth of reality. It's all definitely an experience within that awareness, within that unconditioned awareness of reality. So it's never about denying the experience that you're having in 3D reality. Never about that. And the idea that conditions don't matter mean there's a greater reality behind those conditions. In other words, the more you focus on those conditions, the more real they get. Do you see it? Because you're putting them there. That's why we say conditions don't matter. It's the reality behind it. It's what's going on within you, right? The image that you're creating, certainly with your thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs, but even behind that, the ultimate reality of who you are, the higher reality, right? So that's what Jesus meant in John 7:24. Judge not according to appearance means there's a greater reality behind all appearances. Remember, you've got the physical world, the mental world, and the spiritual world, or the ultimate reality behind it all. There's an ultimate reality, who you really are, that I am awareness behind all of it. Behind your thought, behind the mental world, your thoughts and beliefs and assumptions, and behind the physical world, the physical manifestation of those thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Remember, they're all manifestations. The mind is a manifestation. The physical experience, the 3D experience of the physical world is a manifestation, right? The only reality is the ultimate reality of consciousness, of awareness, of who you really are. So let's get this today like we never have before. Remember, what's the definition of an illusion? To be wrongly perceived. Okay. Yeah, something that is wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses. That's what it means to be an illusion, to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses. In other words, it's not what it appears to be or what it appears that you're seeing. There's a greater reality behind it. It's real what you're seeing. It's real. It's not, right? It's not fake. It's real. It just means there's a greater reality behind it. It's not what it seems to be. Do you see it? But that's why this is what Jesus meant. But first seek the kingdom, seek ultimate reality, the kingdom of God and his righteousness, righteous judgment, true perception, right? Remember, judge not according to appearances, righteous judgment. Judge the true appearance behind it. Behind all appearances and experiences of reality is the true perception, the ultimate reality. That's what that means. Right? It means wrongly means not righteous. You're not seeing it righteously. You're not seeing it through that lens, through no lens, right? Remember, we're putting everything through a lens of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. You're not seeing it through that greater reality of I am, where there's no lens, where it's pure awareness, where it's pure consciousness, right? So the illusion, another definition says a deceptive appearance or a false idea or belief. Deceptive, this gets to A Course in Miracles saying, do not be deceived, right? God will not be mocked. It's a deceptive appearance, I mean, it's not what it really means. It's not what it truly means, but it's real. Certainly that reflection that you're seeing in the mirror is real, right? If you're real, the reflection in the mirror is real. And remember, we're talking about the mirror reality in the metaphysical world. So, in other words, any idea or belief that limits, separates, or divides what can never be limited, separated, or divided is a false idea or belief. Hear this again. This is the whole idea of limiting beliefs or false beliefs or bogus beliefs. They're any idea or any belief that limits, separates, or divides God. That limits, separates, divides all that is. That limits, separates, or divides that awareness or consciousness that can never really be limited, ever separated or divided. It's one source, it's one God, it's one unity. That's what a false idea or belief. So that's the idea of illusion. I was going to say delusion. The illusion, right? It can't be divided. It's the only reality. Okay? So that's what that means, right? A false idea or a belief is an illusion. It just means that behind it is one source, one God, one changeless reality. Let's hit it a little bit more. 3D reality within the mirror of your mind is a reflection of your dominant thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. That's what 3D reality, it's a reflection of your mirror mind, of your dominant thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. And that mind is a manifestation of the ultimate reality of who you really are, of all that is. So it's all a manifestation. The first manifestation is mind, your place in the divine mind of God, right? Where you're unlimited in that limitless reality. You're unlimited in that limitless divine mind where you can think, assume anything, right? You're only limited by what you can possibly think, assume, or believe, right? In your reflection and thoughts and assumptions and beliefs are real experiences within consciousness. Just hear that. That 3D reality that we call a reflection or an illusion is just as real as anything else. It's real. And so aren't your thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. They're all real, meaning they're all real experiences within consciousness, right? Or in other words, awareness, or in other words, ultimate reality. They're all the 3D physical reality and your thoughts and feelings and assumptions and beliefs that create the 3D physical reality, that create that reflection in the mirror, are all real. In other words, they're all real experiences within consciousness or awareness or ultimate reality. You're always seeing, perceiving, and experiencing reality or what's real. It's just not what it seems. Hear it again. You're always experiencing, seeing, perceiving. You're always seeing, perceiving, and experiencing reality or what's real. But you're not always seeing, perceiving, and experiencing what it seems to, what it really is. You're only experiencing what it seems to be, but it's all real. Do you see it? It's still a real experience, even though it's not what it seems to be. Judge not according to appearances, even though the appearance is not what it seems to be. It's a real experience, right? That appearance exists. That appearance is real, right? It's a real experience. The appearance, though, is not what it seems to be, the ultimate reality behind it. There is something there. It's just not out there. There's no out there. Do you see it? So there's something there for sure, something that you're experiencing. But it's not out there. It's within you. Do you get it? All of that physical 3D reality and your thoughts and feelings and assumptions about it are not out there. They're within you. There's no out there. That's a reflection of what's going on within you. So you're always seeing, perceiving, experiencing reality or what's real. It's just not what it seems to be. There's something there. There's just not something out there. There's no out there. Do you hear it? It's all within you. It's all a projection of consciousness from within you, from your mind, right? That's powerful today. And remember, a normal 3D mirror works like this. You've got yourself. You're standing in front of the mirror. We call that the 3D physical world or the real material world, right? This is a normal mirror. The reflection is not material. Do you see it? You're looking in the mirror. You can say that's not real, but it is real. If you're real, the reflection must be real. Do you see it? That's the point I'm trying to make here. That the 3D world, as that metaphysical reflection, must be real. The reflection in a normal mirror is not material, it's metaphysical, but it's just as real. If you are real, the reflection must be real, right? It's just not what it seems. There's a greater reality behind, or in this case, in front of the reflection, right? In this case, you're standing in front of it, but there's a greater reality, and you are that reality in a normal mirror, right? You are the physical reality. You're the physical image in front of that mirror, right? But the image is real, or the reflection's real, right? To change the reflection inside the mirror, however, you must change yourself. That's why Neville Goddard said there's no one to change but self. In a normal mirror, you can't change that reflection. You can try, right? You can try like a kitty pawing at the mirror, chasing its reflection, but you can't change that. You've got to change the image. In this case, in a normal mirror, it means the physical 3D world. But the reality mirror works the opposite. We're going to show that. Remember, that's why all the spiritual teachers say the mirror won't smile until you do. There's no one to change but self. True in a normal mirror as well as a metaphysical mirror, or the mirror of the mind, which we're going to show right now. And here's the reality mirror, the mirror of the mind, the dual mirror, the world mirror. The reality mirror works in the opposite way of the 3D world mirror. Do you see it? In this case, the physical reality, this here, the physical you in physical reality, the 3D material world, is the reflection. The 3D physical you is the reflection that appears solid and unchangeable. It's real, just like the image on the other side of the mirror in a normal mirror. It's real. It's just that it's not what it seems. That reflection is real. The 3D, this is the point I was getting at. The 3D world is not an illusion. It's an illusion in the sense it's not what it seems, but it's real. It's not that it's unreal. And then you have the metaphysical image on the other side of the mirror. You created by your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, your self-concept, your identity. This image is just as real. They're both real. The metaphysical image that you've created, that manifestation is just as real, which you've created by your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. That image, that self-concept, that identity is just as real as the reflection or the physical reality, which is a reflection in this case, in the physical world, right? But we try to change this. We try to change the reflection, the physical world. We try to influence the people, events, and circumstances. You can't change it. You can try to change things through force in the physical world. You might be able to change some things, but there's no real change until you change the self within, the metaphysical self that you've created by your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, your self-concept, your identity, who you believe you are, that image. So behind both of these manifestations, because they're both manifestations of the divine mind of God. They're all manifestations within the awareness of I am, within the ultimate reality of who you really are. Both of these, right? But behind both the reflection and the metaphysical you, the image that you've created with your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, the mental mind, the mental image, is the real changeless you. The I am that I am. There you are. Spirit, who you really are. That awareness that's never affected by any of this or this. Do you see it? The physical world, the mental world, the higher reality of the spiritual world, the higher metaphysical world, who you really are. Right? All three of these, right? Some call this the third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension. But forget about dimensions. It's all one reality, and it's all real. Do you see it? It's all ultimate reality, right? This is a manifestation within that awareness, both of these, the mental manifestation and the physical manifestation, where that physical is just a reflection of what's going on in the mind, right? But behind both these manifestations is the ultimate reality. I am that I am. I am that image behind all of it, right? Physical, mental, and spiritual. The movie analogy is perfect for this. So the movie analogy, you have that unconditioned consciousness or that pure awareness of being. That pure awareness, that unconditioned consciousness, that I am, that I am, I am, that I am, that I am, that I am, that metaphysical unconditioned consciousness, who you really are. Who you really are, think of that as the movie screen. But it's a movie screen that's beyond time and space. It doesn't have boundaries. It doesn't have divisions. It doesn't have a beginning and an ending. It's beyond time and space and divisions and beginning and endings. It's the eternal now moment. It's the awareness of being, right? It's the ultimate reality. It's the kingdom that Jesus was referring to. Seek first the kingdom. That unconditioned concept, pure awareness, that's the father of Scripture. It's absolute isness of reality. It's unchangeable, right? It's your one true story. When we're talking about, he says, I don't know what the story to tell. You only have one true story. Before Abraham, I am. Before Abraham, unconditioned awareness, pure awareness of who you really are. The spirit world, God, the absolute isness of reality. Then after that movie screen, because remember that screen never changes no matter what's shown on that movie screen, no matter what movie you're projecting, when that movie is over, the screen's untouched. It's still pure light. It's still pure consciousness, right? That pure light. Then there's the mental or physical world. You can think of that as the camera of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions through which this pure awareness is conditioned or limited or filtered. The unlimited possibilities. The light is refracted through this lens or through this camera, right? It's all part of that screen, right? Even the camera is part of that awareness, a part of that screen. But it is projected, it's created. That mental physical camera of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions is a manifestation of the unconditional pure awareness, of that movie screen, if you want to call it that, right? Then the light is refracted, it's filtered, right? And then there's change within itself. It's the movie screen changing within itself. It's awareness having changing realities within itself, right? It is then reflected back upon itself. As it goes through this filter of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, as this light is reflected through those thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, there is an image on the screen or the movie. Right? That's the awareness on the screen. It's reflected back upon itself. Remember, it's just God experiencing God as God. That's what our experiences is. We're part of God, experiencing ourselves as all that is. So it's just reflected back upon itself. That's what 3D reality is. Right? A form of physical images. The reflection or your story or your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are then reflected back on the screen of awareness, back upon itself. Time and space only appear within this image. Do you see it? Time and space is only created through that camera or through that filter of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Otherwise, time and space doesn't exist. Right? It's just a thought. It's just a belief. It's just an assumption. It's how we see reality. It's how we reflect, how we have an experience as awareness, how we have an experience of all that is. How we have an experience of all that's going on right now. All that is, the simultaneous experience of all that is experienced through time and space, right? As we see images reflected on the screen. That's powerful. So when you stop telling stories, in other words, thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions, because that's all stories are. They're just your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. No movie. In other words, there's no movie shown. You're left with the blank screen or pure awareness or your I am. All stories, time, space disappear. When the movie is gone, time and space disappear. You're just left with that timeless, spaceless, eternal now moment. Right? All stories, all of the stories appear within the eternal moment of now. All your stories, all that you are. Remember, you exist in all stories. Right? You exist in all realities. You exist in all identities right now, right? So now has nothing to do. This is what one of you wrote, a great quote by Rupert Spira on channel yesterday, and I'm going to use it. And he said, "Hey, Tom, use this quote." And said, I'll use it. Now, or maybe you didn't say use it, but I'm using it. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm giving you credit because I love this quote. I love Rubit Spira. He talks about non-dualism, non-duality. Now has nothing to do with time. Now is another name for awareness, another name for self, or in other words, another name for love. It's that eternal moment. It's another name for the eternal moment. It has nothing to do with time. Time disappears when the movie is over. Time disappears when you stop telling the story. Time disappears when the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions disappear. All your stories then are now. All of them. All the stories that you could ever tell, your whole past, present, and future are happening now. You exist in all stories. You exist in all realities. You exist in all identities. One superimposed over the other, like pages in a book. Rubin Spira uses this example also when he talks about time. It's like a book, the now moment, and all of your experiences, past, present, and future, are like pages, one over another, superimposed one over another, like a book. But there's no separation or time and space until you start telling the story or flipping the pages. In other words, it looks like one page is over another and there's separation, but there's no separation. It's really one page, one story, I am. But as you begin to tell the story, those pages separate. They're still in the now moment. It's still happening now. They're still one over another. But you start flipping the pages, and now you create separation. Now you create time and space. Now you create a story in time. Right, where all of it is now, but you can't tell the story as it all happening at now. When you tell a story, you tell it in a linear experience, in a horizontal experience. But it's all happening now. All stories are now. You exist in all stories, all realities. One superimposed over the other, like pages in a book. It's the now moment. That book is eternity. That's your eternal existence, right? And they're all happening now. But for you to experience them, for you to have that physical experience, to tell that story, you flip the pages. You create this idea of separation, of time and space, and you tell the story. But that was the idea. That's the answer to your question. There's no story. All stories are really in your face because you're all realities, you're all stories, but you get to tell the story that you want. It doesn't matter what people are asking you or what they're saying. Just tell the story. You know, you could always say, "Oh yeah, that's an old story. I don't tell that story anymore." Right? That guy was crazy. I don't talk about him anymore. That's a different identity. Right? You're new with every story you tell because it's all happening now. You get to determine your story right now. This is powerful today. Here are the takeaways of today's lesson. The 3D world, the 3D conditions, the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are all real or a real experience of reality. All your stories are real because they're all a real experience of reality, but they're not ultimate reality. They're just movies that are getting shown on the screen of awareness. But remember, the movies are not separate from the screen of awareness. They're just movement within that screen of awareness, movement in the unchangeable awareness or unconditioned consciousness, right? God moved upon the waters. That's the movement to create an experience of ultimate reality. That movement of consciousness, that movement of that substance, the 3D world, the 3D thoughts and feelings and beliefs are all real or a real experience of reality. But they're not reality. They're not what they appear to be. Right? Remember, the physical world plus the mental world, the physical 3D reflection, plus the metaphysical image on the other side of the mirror plus the other side of the mirror, all of it is ultimate reality. It's all real. It's all a real experience of that unconditioned or pure awareness of being. Do you see it? It's all here and it's all now. It's all stories. It's all possibilities taking place simultaneously in the eternal now. So you get to tell any story you want. Your story is the only experience of reality right now, whatever story you're telling. So tell the new story. Tell it how you would like it to be, because they're all happening now anyway, even the stories you don't remember, right? There are infinite stories you don't even remember. They're all being told now. You get to determine it. It's all real, right? It's all real. Illusion only means it's not what it seems, What's real and what's an illusion? Buckle up. That's why I told you to buckle up today. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and also our TikTok channel at Be Something Wonderful. We're on TikTok now. TikTok right now, tongue twister, and we have a new video we're going to release today on TikTok, and several actually are going to be released over the next week or so. Also, don't forget we have a membership channel where a way that you can get extra. We put additional unique content on the membership channel. We also have live streams that we do almost monthly, not quite, but almost monthly, and we have a live stream now to be broadcast on the membership channel on Sunday, October 29th, just under 2 weeks from now, at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to come to you live right here from the studios of Be Something Wonderful live on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. I'm going to answer your questions that you've been sending to info@besomethingwonderful.com. We also have another video for the membership channel. That's in the works. That should really get released this week, maybe tomorrow or today. We'll see. And just check it out. If you're a member, thank you for joining. If you're not a member, check out. There's a link below. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful in the studios here in Las Vegas. Until next time, see you soon.